mantle. She felt like they accepted her after that, even though she herself is an outcast in her own family.
Mm-hmm.
And she's hoping and she's looking forward to if any of them are willing to try to bring Zen back, because that is her main goal.
Okay.
One, two, three, four, five.
Out here pretending like you're not gonna call someone out. Don't lie.
And you don't have to do both. I like that you did both, but don't feel like you can do one or the other. Like what you've already done,
I didn't feel
or
like
something that you're looking forward to do.
the whole proud one. Like I said, she hasn't been a part of the group to be proud of anything right now.
But she's
So
had
that's
that
why,
moment.
yeah, that was the only like one moment that stands out for her with the group right now.
Good to know.
It is that one. Versus.
This is hard. Not because I don't have either of those things, but yes, it's just yeah, hard talking about this stuff. I think Persis is looking forward to harnessing some of the manic energy of the Bronze Bullies and yeah, just focusing it into something that's higher than them, because it seems like there's all this chaos in the group, and we just bounce from one thing to another and react to things strongly, but none of the group is a bad person. We all want good things, and I think she wants a bunch of individuals reacting to stuff. I don't know
Thanks, Colin.
how well that's going to work, but yeah.
Feel free to toss it to someone else.
I will pass it to Taroxes.
So Taroxes is very proud to still have the hammer. Like getting the hammer was such a big deal originally, but it's taken on new meaning in the absence of Perforos, that he still has. It's what he has left of his absent father, so it's very important. He's very proud to still have the hammer. And um what he'd like to accomplish is actually tied to that in the background of all the events that happen, Taroxes is kind of listless at the moment, looking for new purpose. He wants to find a new purpose because without Perforos, his entire life has been meant to prove himself to Perforos, but now with no one to prove himself to, he's kind of just cleaving to the bullies and to Telman more than ever because Taroxes doesn't know what to do or where to go. So he's looking for new purpose. And I'm going to shoot this one over to Proxinos.
Okay. This, for Proxinos, I would say one of the more prouder moments that he's had was before the night of the Yunagu fight, when we were able to have a banquet, be able to get together and be able to enjoy, be able to talk amongst ourselves, drink, and be amongst each other. Because for him, you guys have become another family to him, extended family, one that he cherishes. And he wants to keep that together as what he will through thick and thin. And I think that as the trials and tribulations ahead, he will strive to keep that bond strong. And I'm going to roll. Take it away, Nikki.
Hi, I'm Nikki. Just kidding. I think, honestly, Fitz is really proud that she rescued that dragon egg from Theraxes, that she gets to, like, cultivate it and potentially give it a better life with people who will have positive reinforcement for it instead of, like, it just being a terror. Hopefully, that's her hope. I think she also has a lot of shame around the fact that we blew up the world and are just kind of carrying on like that didn't happen. And her hope would be that somehow we can like save the world, as cheesy as that sounds, some way to like, we made the world this way, let's make it livable. Yeah, and like be heroes in the end. I don't know who has not gone.
It's me and Eddie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go for it, Talmud.
All right. I'm gonna separate this. I'm gonna say Jason is proud of a lot of moments, but I'm gonna try to filter this through what Talmud sees. And I would probably say what Talmud has been most impressed by is not necessarily what we have accomplished, but what we have gone through and still accomplished, because everybody in this place is kind of messed up and we don't always agree on what we're doing, but we still manage to suck it up when it needs to be sucked up and get through a lot of hard times. From a hope perspective, I don't mean to ditto too much of Taraxes, but he, at where Taraxes had a goal and was trying to find is lost and now looking to Telmoon to find it. So Taraxes was Telmoon's goal before. Like it was like, oh, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this for Perforos, and now that's gone. So he's trying to find where he was supposed to be in the first place. And I think that's kind of where I hope to end at the end. Like I think it is. He's sure that it's something with you guys, but he's not sure what his role in it is yet. So I think that's my hope, to help him find that role. And I guess I choose Eddie. How you feeling, Eddie?
Yeah, I would say, Moby's probably the most proud of, bringing in, helping enough to bring in some of the guards. I think they're the Akrons, the guards that we were able to bring in to help with the ship. Moby has no family. His twin sister is gone and never had much of a family to begin with. So this is a way to try to have a family that he never had. And there's certainly a lot more to that. But just that brief moment of feeling accepted by the group, they don't know him, right? It was a big thing. And I hope in the long term I can kind of be accepted as part of the Bronze Bullies.
It's awesome. Thank you all for going along with that and sharing. I think it's good to hear those kind of things sometimes. And as we're about to dive back into the game and go back to a very heightened, tense moment, think about what your party members have just shared, right? How that can influence what you do next. And I just want to remind us that this one thing is really great about this game is, you know, in real life gets really hard, and this game allows us to explore both gain and loss in a safe way, right? And another thing, because it's fantasy, anything that's lost can be gained. This is the only world where if you lose a loved one, you can like journey to the end of the earth to get them back. And so I think that just remember that, you know, it wouldn't be a journey if it didn't get hard from time to time. And that's so just let's just always know that and keep that at the forefront. So, you know, I love you all. Let's get back into our THEROS game where we have left off, where there's a tense moment with the Militian guards. Apple has, now he's going to come in and ruin my my setup. Here comes Apple.
Just in time for us to
Just in
hear from
time. Yeah.
Redo it.
Yep,
So
he's
say hi to
playing
Apple.
Sophia
Yeah.
tonight.
I'll make him share his. We'll make him share
Renee.
his.
Give him the talking stick.
Yeah. Let me get situated. Let me turn off. There we go. And then we'll do. Add. Screen capture. Mhm. Let's see. All right. So Renee, how's it going?
Hey, Renee.
So
You guys hear me?
Renee, yep.
Okay.
You can take a moment. I'm just putting you on the spot, but everyone has gone around. You don't have to like rush because I got to put your screen together. But in the meantime, we are recording. By the way, I should have said that a long time ago, but we have been recording. But while I do this, we've all been sharing one thing about our character that we are to either something that Apodexis is like proud of since the beginning of the campaign, of accomplishing or doing or having happen, or something, you know, Apple was really looking forward to the possibility of being able to accomplish or do. So just something to food for thought, and you can share that whenever you like with the rest of your group. And then you could also just kind of chit chat. You guys can feel free to chit chat while I get a couple things set up here.
I think he was just at the end of the gods, basically. I think he was okay with working with everybody and then, you know, being those heroes. And he started to notice, like, maybe this isn't exactly what we set out to do. And he wants to get back to that and, like, be the bronze bullies that were saving people. Because I think that's what he's been wanting. That's why he left where he did. Try and, you know, see the world, but also to try and help it be a better place. And I think that's he's done some stupid things, but I think everything has always been in the best interest of his friends, his newfound family, and then making sure that you know, the people that they were really trying to protect were actually being protected. And I think he like everybody else, I think, kind of got away from that for a bit and sees this as an opportunity, since, you know, the gods are not there, and it kind of, not to be a god, but the ability to take THEROS in a new direction. And that's all I got.
Thank you. That's great. All right, almost there. Just got to do Sophia's.
Double check. So, yeah. Hey, look at that. Not too bad.
Like I said, it gets easier over time.
Like Full Metal Jacket just field stripping your rifle.
You gotta work that shoulder though, Appo. It's front and center, man. Oh no, what's going on?
All right.
Not bad.
All right.
Look at that.
Look at that. We are. And then maybe during our break, I'll do the other screen a little later. Well, it's time for that one. But okay, so yeah, you were right on time, Appo. Just about to dive back in. And I know we've spent about an hour to get started, but that's fine with tonight's session. Taking a little bit. I think it was good that we took that time. This session may be as long as a normal session, maybe a little shorter. I'll see how it goes. Let's see where I want to start. You guys can hear music okay, and hopefully it's not too loud. Okay. So before we dive back in, I'm going to start with a cold open. And then the kind of just imagining the Nyx, right? The stars, the nebula, those multicolored gases moving through the atmosphere, the void. And then we hear a voice. It all started with 3 masks from the underworld. Masks whose inner engravings would spark a desire in the god of deception to seek out his original purpose. I was foolish to think that Phoenix could pull off such a feat, sacrificing his very being to return to his source. Oh, how I underestimated him. He has played a cruel joke, and with his laughing last breath, THEROS has cast THEROS into a time of wailing. She is in pain. Her lands have been torn asunder. Her people struggle to keep their faith as their gods perish and monsters grow more ferocious. Gods vanish from the stars as a red dragon moves to claim an empty throne, using one of Erebos' most treacherous creations to do his bidding. And Erebos has become arrogant, seeking to expand his territories with his brother out of the way. I was a fool to see what was coming far too late. So busy trying to thwart Phoenix's doing, I could not see the secret before me. It's possibly because it lied so far beyond the stars of the Nyx, somewhere in that black void. It hungers still for power. And though I have silenced the gods, my silence only retards the power of the Eye of Doom. It keeps the fear from seeping into the mortals' minds. But I sacrifice the communication of my champions, and they are now pulled in many directions, and I cannot guide them. And now I watch them, and I realize that, like the silence that Appo has just cast, their voices are drowning in darkness. They have always had a torch of Perforos or the hunter's call of Nylea to lead them down their path, but now the path is their own, and they must choose what they will do. The fate of a sea of souls is in their hands. I only hope they can see beyond their desire for power, and power they have enough. Yet hopefully they understand the difference between it and heroism. I am tempted to help them. I could bend the Nyx and warp it to my will, but I risk breaking the silence, and they are not ready, but they will be. And though in this silence that I have held on to my secrets, I know that my secrets live in them, and I know that deep down within their souls, they can hear me. They can hear the voice of Krufix. And we kind of push down, smash camp back into the location, the theater, somewhere after maybe 10 p.m. Back into that cramped little room that is still musty from combat. Bodies lie everywhere, blood stained over heaps of gold, and the smell of battle still in the air, that metally, almost metallic taste in your mouths from blood and iron. And the Militian hoplites, their shields are up, their spears thrust outward. They continually mouthing, the captain mouthing some order. Their neck muscles flexing, straining, though nothing's coming out. The same going for, probably imagine, many of the bronze bullies, as Meletis is trying to wave his hands to try to stop the madness. And we enter in 6 long seconds. 6 long seconds. What's happening next? 6. 5.
Proxenus looks over, mouths to Apodexus. Drop the silence.
Apo nods, raises his paws, and then just drops it and keeps his paws up.
Put your weapons down. There's a ruckus of sound in the room as you can hear them commanding you to stand down. 4.
Hands up.
Suddenly kind of surprised. Some of the militia guards, you can tell that the 2 on either side of the captain, Sagat, look extremely worried. They know that they are, even though they outnumber you all, they know they're outnumbered by the bronze bullies. On the stairs down below, the 3 of them are looking up at Taraxis towering over them, that is up on the deck. Persis and Moby and Sophia stand there quite, they clearly seem ready for anything. But we watch them slowly putting down their weapons. All right. Sagat says, come with us. We'll figure this out. And is anything being said here as they kind of look? Is he kind of sends his men into, they don't actually, with your weapons going down, they don't cover them, but they kind of stand on either side of you and create like a funnel as to like kind of like follow them right out, with their cloaks kind of moving. How are you all responding?
They're not reaching for our weapons, though, right?
No.
Okay.
They're actually just kind of like leading a path for you to follow them like downstairs and outside, kind of into that open like courtyard area.
Proxenus would see a slight like rainbow like just flash across Telmoon's eyes. And then he'll stop gripping the pommels of his rapiers and he'll follow.
Proxenus kind of exhales a sigh. I'll follow along, and we'll sort this out.
And so they lead the group downstairs out into a courtyard area. There's no one really out there. All the people are gone, so it's kind of this quiet moment. There's some torches lit under the moon in the night sky, and because of the call that had gone out, there's a few other militia guards beginning to arrive, and one of them kind of rushing up, kind of like huffing forward, is the white Leonin Piaxathor and his golden armor, and he kind of sees you all basically kind of being surrounded, hands up, kind of being led forward. And he goes, I just received a call. What is the meaning of this, Captain Stagat? And Captain turns and says, we arrived on scene. The bronze bullies, they seem to have saved one of the philosophers, but they assaulted me, an official of the city. And for that, they must be taken in. He goes, these are my friends. These are battle brothers. Surely this is a mistake. And he goes, and he kind of looks to the others, but I'm sure we can sort this out. I believe you, Stagat, but I'm sure it is a misunderstanding. But that being said, this is Meletis, and we must abide by our laws. And he looks to any of you. What is the meaning of this?
This was a mistake, but we will make restitution. We should all come together and discuss what happened, but my companions are hot-blooded. We went too far.
As I am. Stagat, I will escort this group. I will escort them personally with my men. And he goes, kind of grumbles a bit. Listen, we do have a code of conduct here in this city. I will have to take you in, but I will do my best to get you out soon and filter through the charges. And Appledex, and then Theodetus says, yes, I can stand by. These men saved my life, and while they commit violence, they are no different from your guards who commit it as well. And he goes, understand. Spare me the philosophy, but it's good to know you have the one of the 12 on your side. And so if nothing else is said, then basically we kind of montage forward as they walk you to basically the facilities that would be the jail here in Meletis. They take you in. They kind of go over all your names, kind of noting who is being taken in, and they put you all in a very large open spaced cell to kind of sit with each other. But you can tell in the cell there's these, like, in the flagstone, there are these like red glowing crystals, and as they kind of, from the moment you enter the jail, you start noticing them everywhere, and you start to feel like your magic, your way to tap into your magic, kind of diminishing. Your arcanic abilities kind of being drained from you, not in a way where you feel like you're weak, but just feel like you can't access them, like you can't tear into the fabric of magic like you could outside. They do ask for your weapons for right now, and I think another thing that I think Piaxathor would make very clear back before you even walk down this way, as he sees the gold, he says, is this your things? Where did all that come from? So I'm kind of going back for a moment. So back when you were standing out, Piaxathor asked you about the gold. Were you saying, you were going to speak?
I'm sure Nikki has it. Or
okay.
Fitz has it.
I don't know how quickly I was able to scoop up almost 10,000 gold pieces.
Oh, no, I think you have the bag of holding now.
Yeah. Would you... He's basically asking, is it yours, Piaxathor?
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything about you guys' gold, so... Yeah.
It's been ours. We earned it a long time ago. We've been carrying it around in this magical bag, and now it's all over the floor. And these guards are trying to take it, and that's really annoying. But
No guard
it's ours.
Will touch your things under my watch. I will make sure every coin is returned to you. Minus any charges you may receive from the city for if this charge goes forward, but I will work to do my best. And so Piaxathor personally has his men begin to gather the gold for you. It is not taken with you into the sale. If Fitz is willing to give him the bag, then they use that, of course, to. He promises to get it back to you.
Last time I handed this bag to someone, they did not return it to me promptly, and it was not a pretty sight. So you better return this to me, and I know exactly down to the penny how much money there is.
Okay.
During the montage, for anyone who was not in the room for the inciting incident, I imagine or asks the other party members to fill in what's missing, because Taroxys wasn't there for the inciting incident, so this is all info to be given.
Oh yes, okay. In terms of filling all that in, fair enough.
So just anyone who wasn't in the room for it.
And so in this moment, the Bronze Bullies, they have found themselves inside of a cell, sitting, and in a weird way, they haven't had. I mean, they rest as they travel, but seeing as they have had, being as they're on a ship and they are constantly all in their own minds, leading to their own devices, heading to where heading to get things done, worrying about the people of Akron. This is the first time they've all kind of sat together, probably like as Proxinos mentioned or Nick mentioned earlier, since the Heroes Feast, before the fight of Yinagu. So as they kind of sit there, I wonder if there's anything that they're sharing with each other.
You. Sometimes I wonder about what happened in our fight against Iliad. I've been afraid to say it, but did we make anything better? Was there another way?
People are no longer burning to death. I'd say that's a start.
A start is what we have. When we get out of this, we have the chance to start building a new world. I meant it earlier that I think that we're going to need Akros and its people in order for this world to survive. I think we need to continue building the bonds of the people of Theros. Together is the only way that we're going to succeed.
Yes, in all fairness, this was going to happen one way or another. With our intervention, we may have saved what is left. And for that, we should have much pride.
Apo's sitting as cross-legged on the floor as he possibly can get, his leaning legs. And you can, if you're standing next to him, you can just hear him say, "Why do we complain? This is what we're here for." He just keeps saying it over and over and over, like a mantra.
Moby, or do you mind describing the cell? Just kind of.
Yeah, it's just that's a good. It's about it's a very large open cell that for all of you to kind of comfortably. It's like a rectangular cell. The ceiling is no higher than 20 feet. There are two small windows on the back wall and a long, big wooden bench that is protrudes from the wall for you all to kind of like sit. And that bench goes all the way around the rectangular room. It's probably no more than about 40 feet wide, and the room itself is about 30 feet deep. And then on the other side, it's all bars, right? It's just like bars, and there's like a gate where they like walk you in. It's kind of like a holding cell more than like you guys aren't like an individual jail right now. You're just kind of in that holding area. A couple guards walk by from here and there, a lot of lights, but you seem to be the only people there. No one else is in the cell with you. There's a couple of sconces that kind of flicker, probably like almost like drift globes. You can tell that the fire itself is magical, and then it just has there's like a reddish hue to the room because of those red little crystals that are keeping you from drawing at your magic.
So Moby kind of corners himself up, kind of near one of the corners of the wall where the bars are, and then kind of clean up a little bit, not up towards the ceiling, but just in the corner. You just get the sense that he's not used to being in close quarters, or he feels uncomfortable being in close quarters with everyone. And so that's where he's at, not really saying anything.
Don't worry, Moby. Only Apo bites.
On occasion, I've tended to bite a few times.
And he just like sighed, like you just see the Leonin eye kind of like open a little bit, and you hear like that small little feline like, but like you see his smile at the corner and the edges.
There's a kind of I guess you would say like a bittersweet smile on Proximo's face, like it's strange. Sometimes I wish that I could just spend some of this time with y'all, not having to worry about end of the world or Theraxes or any of that, but just be in the moment. But I also get to thinking that I haven't talked about what's been happening with, and he just kind of points at like the glowing eyes and parts of his body that kind of go in and out like mist. It's like I've been pretending that we're all just fine and dandy, and we're all just crusading along like when we first met each other. But things are changing in a lot of ways, and I don't want to do that thing again where I just drop dead in front of you all and tell you a day before that I have a death-ending disease. That wasn't very nice of me.
Moby kind of perks up hearing that, as he opens his wings and some sweat puddles kind of just drench the floor below him. And again, not knowing the group very well, asks you what disease? What happened?
It was a disease created by the god of the dead that swept across THEROS. And Erebos, he is the reason why I have these powers. He gave me life when I was a dead stillborn in my mom's womb.
I see.
And I can feel myself fading in and out more and more, seeing the underworld. Sometimes I feel like I'm there. I swear just one day I might just step through and never come back. And that's not to mention what Erebos has done to the underworld either. How he shattered it and leaving all our friends that have passed. They're trapped in the underworld. I could see it. My brother, stranded, alone in that deserted ruins. I can't accept it.
Well, that's just one more thing on the list of places to fix. Worry not, I'm sure we'll drift in that direction. We do have a ship now, that makes travel somewhat easier.
How can we help? What can we do?
I vote that we hit the problem until it's no longer a problem.
Kill the god of death.
What's one more?
Then no one dies.
We
You saw
don't
what happened.
we don't
saw
know the
what-
rules. Oh
Go
god.
ahead. No, you.
We don't know the rules of this new place we find ourselves in. Many of the old adages no longer hold sway. Old problems can be approached from new angles, perhaps. What do you think, Proxinos?
Proxenos, taking out from his robes a red glowing feather. I've been thinking about this for a while. Thinking about the what ifs. What if everything did fix if after we killed Heliod, we revived him? What if we revived Perforos and things started to turn better and the world didn't need to break apart? What if? They could have revived my brother, but the world needs this more than one wish of me. And maybe you're right, Taroxys. Maybe the world won't break apart again if we kill the god of the dead, or if we even attempt to. I don't know what happens if we kill Theraxes. That will cause a chain reaction of something. I've began to to question the outcome of things.
So,
I thought of...
Go ahead.
Yes, Talmoon?
So you're saying we sit back and do nothing?
Kind of looks to the ground for a second. Looks over at you, Talmoon. If we do nothing, then I'm sure Akros will be pulled into that black hole, and they will die, along with the other pieces of Theros, the Veil, and eventually here as well. I can't let that happen. No. When you put it that way, these have been things grating on my mind. But what about you all? It's been a long time. Looking over kind of like Sophia, Fitz, Persis, Telmoon, Apo, Taroxes, and Moby. Does anyone else feel this way? Feel unsure?
We're beyond the horizon of what we know. It's natural to feel uncertainty, fear even, to question our motives, to question the path ahead of us. And we don't know the path. There are a number of things we can react to, but what are we building towards? I don't even know if we can deal with the problems that we know about now. But we need to make the choice, at least. What's most important? What's worth saving? I was so ready to be angry coming back here because of how seemingly inevitably we ended up, well, in jail. But at the same time, the sentiment that put us here, Fitz, it does you credit. You cared so much about Kai. I'm sorry we're stuck in here and aren't able to help her. But we'll deal with this.
You
I don't
know,
know.
everywhere we go, whenever we meet people, I always tell them we are the Bronze Bullies, but don't let the name fool you, because we are really nice. And I feel like, I'm lying to people. I feel like we are just a bunch of bullies, and I don't know when that happened.
Perhaps it's time for a new path. I agree with Proxenos. We can play the what if game until the black hole in the sky swallows us up. But then we literally would have done nothing when we have the opportunity to do everything.
Well, the people of Akros are our people, and we will see to them first, and once we are sure of their safety, perhaps we can look for others who are as in need as they are, and we can stitch Theros back together in this sea of stars, if not physically, then at least in some new way.
And so as they sit there contemplating all of this, suddenly there is a door that down the hall clearly sounds like the door of the guard. Someone is coming, and it swings open, and come on, and you hear a voice saying, Barraclan the Great did it all at one time, could carry an ox on his arm. And one of the guards kind of walks over, and this kind of pretty muscular, it's not too tall though, very kind of short, stocky fellow, curly hair, kind of sun, kind of a brownish skin, and they open the gate and they put him in the holding cell with you. They go on, Barraclan. You can tell the guy is a bit drunk, even though he's pretty ripped. And he goes, no worries, Sam. I'll be out in the morning. And he goes, yeah, just sleep it off. And you can. He's got like a little pouch. For some reason, they let him, keep. And you just be guard is kind of like whatever. So it seems like they almost like know this guy, and he kind of goes over, not looking at any of you, just kind of plops down in the corner, pulls out his little bag, and in it are a couple of little wooden figures he pulls out, and then he kind of looks around and he pulls out like a little stone, almost like a little chisel, and starts kind of working on one of them, kind of humming to himself, almost like he's carving his little stone sculptures. Oh, looks up, don't mind me. You guys continue to talk. Hey, wait. You all look familiar. I know you. Bronze Bullies.
No, you have us mixed up. We are the Iron Oxen. Very much like the Bronze Bullies.
Oh. I thought I saw you. I heard you were... you had like a day ago, yesterday, you were in the match. No? You weren't in the match, in the pancreation match? It's not too many bulls that look like you. Don't worry. Maybe you guys probably got into, a brawl. It happens to the best of us. Would you sign my? He pulls out a little wooden raven. I mean, unless you're the Iron Oxen, then maybe I don't want that signature.
Apo walks over and one of the claws comes out and
he was like, I was gonna give you my little stone, but yeah, that looks good.
Beautiful wood, by the way.
Thank you. I used to be a bit of a hero myself at one time, You're gonna say something, Moby? Now I'm just a town drunk. I was a strapping champion of Iroas, Barraclan. Everyone knew my name, or I thought they did.
And that was a story long ago?
The time it was, I would, for a time, Iroas would send me on labors, and I just loved the taste of victory, Like, I would kill monsters with my bare hands for those in my village. I would hear it was nice when people recognized me. I definitely was not as popular as you are. But I did all right for myself. I don't know where I went wrong, but at some point, I wasn't feeling the call of Iroas, and so I kept looking for something bigger and better, the bigger victory. And people told me to leave it alone, and I journeyed off into a 3-day ride. Wasn't something that Auroras asked me to do, but something that I wanted to. I'd heard about this Hydra, and I knew I wanted to fight it. So I left the Laguna, went into the forest. And while I was gone, Manticore attacked my home. And I lost my family that day. And so I make little, this is my boy, this is my wife. He kind of like shows a couple of the other figurines that he has inside the bag. But enough about me. Sometimes I wonder if I got a little too ahead of myself. I wasn't appreciating what I actually had. But I'm in the presence of the Bronze Bully, so that's... We'll definitely tell them at the bar tomorrow. Oh, unless you don't want me to. I could just say maybe we met on the street before I got arrested.
That would probably help with our reputation as well.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm sure someone's told you this already, but you can't blame yourself for not being there for your family. What if it had been the other way and you had stayed home and the Hydra had killed someone else?
Yeah.
Decor.
And he kind of sits there quiet. Can I have a persuasion check from Persis?
Okay.
With help, because a couple of you guys also shared with him. So
okay.
With advantage.
That is 18.
I will take that to heart. I will not forget it, though I have been... And to be honest, I don't tell that story to too many people, but I've never met anyone who had abilities like me before, so it's really no one to... Very rarely do I talk about it. Just feel a connection with you, maybe. Let me give you something. And he goes, this was one of my favorites. It's a tiger. It was a fleece maned tiger, not a lion, but one of my first prideful monster kills. Here, you take it. Hands it to Persis.
Thank you.
My one ability that I have not, one ability that my figurines have is, they do wondrous things. Of course, it won't work in this cell, but all of them, my Raven, all of the monsters I've been able to carve up, they do wondrous things when you throw them on the ground outside. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work the same for the figures I've made of my family. But that tiger will serve you well.
Roxanus kind of walks over to Bear Clan, puts a hand on his shoulder. I disagree. I think the figures of your family are the real special ones.
Oh, I know. So no, they don't do anything because they're just they're in here, you know. The other stuff's just magic.
Yeah.
Do you
And,
still consider yourself a champion of Iros?
I haven't really thought about it like that in a while. Yeah, I'm still strong. But can't help but, not feel like after that happened and I wasn't there, kind of spiraled, and I haven't saved anyone in years. I don't know. So, maybe. But I'm sure Iroas has moved on to much bigger and better champions to serve him.
I'm sure you'll have plenty of opportunities in the near future to retain some form of glory.
I hope so.
Perhaps, my friend, you should carve a new world. One where sunlight can be let in. And who knows? Perhaps that magic might work.
I will take this as almost a... What are the chances that I would meet you all here? It's almost like an omen from the gods. Tomorrow's another day to try. Yeah, you're right. To carve a new world. I'll take that take it to heart. Well, take that to heart. And he kind of leans back and he kind of lays almost like, kind of not lays on one of the the hard benches and kind of seems to be thinking while trying to carve again, and then just stopping and then just kind of looking at the figures of his family, and kind of like leans back and stares up at the ceiling of the jail.
So then, while he's doing that, Apo will take one of the claws, put it in its mouth, kind of just like peel it off so it snaps, and then he will hand it to him, and he says, "A gift from whatever remains of Oreskos." And then he just kind of like bows, and then goes back to sitting cross-legged.
And he seems to understand that, as everyone knows, that no one knows, especially as the people of Meletis believe that everything outside of Meletis is gone. He just doesn't say thank you, but he kind of tucks his head, like acknowledging it. And the hours begin to tick by. And if I'm moving them and you want to jump in, you can.
I would say that when it seems like Bear Clan is kind of like drifting,
he dozes off
a bit
eventually.
asleep. Proximus will sit down next to Fitz, looks over and says, kind of in a soft tone, not to wake Bear Clan up, we will make sure, I'll make sure that nothing happens to Kai. I don't have the best relations with dragons, but what you've been saying rings true. I don't want what Thraxes did to me and my brother to be repeated onto Kai.
either. And if we could, I don't know, teach her that she could be good, that she doesn't have to be like her dad, I think that could be a really beautiful life for her. Thank you.
Don't thank me. We've been in this together, and I really do consider you all my family. And if you consider Kai your family, well, that just adds on to the list.
I'd certainly like to give her a chance. And I know all of you better than I know my actual family. I am a little worried that we're making the world worse instead of better.
I feel that very much. But we
I
have
don't know
to
what
try.
to do.
I really don't know what the right answer is, Fitz, but I'm willing to try to make the world better. And if I mess up and I fail, it'd be pretty terrible just to let it all waste away, right?
Yeah. I thought a lot about if we could make the world go back to the way it was. But, I don't know, maybe there's hope for this new world. Because the way it was kind of manipulative and not that great. Like, it did need some shaking up. I just worry we might have shook it a little too much.
Then it's our jobs to unshake it, whatever that looks like.
Maybe you're right.
Apart from imminent doom for Akros, we barely know what's going on in the world now. One can be hopeful, but I think we need to go out and see.
Tal Moon looks over at you. We made a short stop, but we didn't check on your folks, really, and how the Skull of Vale's doing.
Someone narrows his eyes at grouping them together as folks, but he'll let it slide in the moment. They see fine. My presence for as long as I can remember has been nothing but a nuisance to my mother. I'm sure she's much happier the way it is.
I don't think that's true. When we went to Bardstock, when we saw Elpida, she looked very happy. She looked very happy that you were there.
Of course, I came back and we were heroes. that tends to fade with time.
Proximos comes over to you, Telmoon. I don't think heroes or being a champion matters to family.
No. But as long as I'm out here being a hero, she doesn't have to worry about whether or not I'm okay. I mean, my physical well-being. But at least she thinks I found a purpose.
And I wanted to ask you, because I never knew for certain, but what purpose do you have, Telmoon? What are you searching for?
If I knew that, I wouldn't have a problem staying home now, would I? It was always become a hero with Roxy's and Perforos' name.
That's that changes a lot.
I'm not good with the big things. I think the commotion we started was probably enough to get those guards' minds off Kai. After that, I kind of trust you guys to guide my blades. Maybe I'll find something along the way.
Maybe we can help with that?
Yeah. You call us family. It's a bit of an awkward term considering the relationship we all have with family, but I can agree it's something special. We wouldn't all still be here if we weren't destined for more.
Destined. I honestly dislike the word destined. That the twines of fate have brought us all together like this to reenact this. You know, I've been trying to fight destiny for many years. Plagued by nightmares of my brother dying, holding the spear of the Dragon Slayer, the Christos family heirloom. I thought if I had the one half that I could stop it, I could break this inevitable end that I kept seeing. And like foretold, happens just like the visions. I don't know if that means that we are already determined to achieve or fail in what we've had, but I would like to fight against that predestined fate. And believe that we came together because of our bonds that we formed, not because God's willed it.
That may be so. Maybe we just need to do what it takes to build our own destinies. What are you looking for?
Looks at Talmud in the eyes.
Someone tries not to flinch.
I'm sorry if that made you uncomfortable.
Gotta be honest, it's kind of creepy.
I understand. Will not directly stare into your soul. I'm looking for a lot of things. I'm getting kind of greedy. I want to fix this world. I want to stop Thraxes for some of me. I want to stop Erebos. Stop what he's doing. Whatever that means. Because the dead should not be suffering like this. Should not be... should be going down that way. And I want to protect my family. All of them. But that's a lot to ask.
I mean, we're going to be the heroes of the world from what it sounds like, so I think the world will forgive us for being a little selfish there. Just got to take those proper steps. Someone will look around. Hopefully in the right direction, but some of you will keep us in that. Probably Moby. Honestly, I think we're just on a better path since he joined.
You see the way that he commanded those Acheron soldiers? It was quite something. Yeah.
And the control of the sweat that he maintains also.
So as Moby's hearing some of these words, I while during some of these discussions, still at my corner, I'd kind of covered myself up, and you start to see a lot more what you perceive as sweat on the ground. I know, it's... bear with me. So he kind of opens up his wings, and he feels, with all these discussions, that, you know, he was very reluctant to share a little bit about his past. And he kind of stumbles towards the group. I know at times we joke, and I take, you know, I partake in these jokes. I feel like I need to unburden myself. Look, you don't know me, and I'm a thief, and it's led to the death of my sister. I don't know if I have the words to go into this now, but part of what is how I am today is because of those mistakes. And he opens up his wings, and the stench in the room can be a little much for some. I just want y'all to know this is what I'm going through. And as he opens up his wings, and you kind of everyone kind of gets a different smell, let's say, and what you see is, while to those that have seen Hadozi like him, or a creature like him, he has longer hair than most, and part of that is to hide a circulatory and skin disease that he has, that leads to an excessive amount of drainage and fluid from his skin, from his pores. And look, this is not something I share, but I feel like I want y'all to know me, true Moby. And he pulls back his skin, and you see these just little kind of very small ulcers kind of throughout his skin that are covered by his hair, and it seems purposely.
I see.
I have to carry this with me, and I hope that you will still all accept me for who I am, and I hope that at one point I can tell you more of my story.
Take your time, Moby, when you're ready.
You're not alone in our group in having a medical condition. And to repeat something, you're not a burden. Same for you, Telmoon. You're not a burden on us or your family. I think I can speak for all of us and say we'll help you through whatever struggles you have. The whole confessing to be a thief thing is brave of you. And we can work on that too.
Mm-hmm.
And so they all spend that. No, go ahead. I don't know if you had a response for Persis, but it seems that Moby is sharing a side of himself that definitely being vulnerable in the moment, as everyone in the Bronze Bullies, I think, has had a more vulnerable moment than they've had in some time, and it's interesting that secrets continue to come to light, or not necessarily secrets, but things that they're willing to share, even though they've journeyed with each other for so long. They've still kept so much to themselves, right, to their personal selves, and so they, in a weird way, while they're sitting in a jail cell, they kind of bond. They're on the same page as the night passes on. And the rooster crows that next morning. They can hear the bells in Meletis ringing, and a bit of light begins to kind of peer through those two little windows in the wall. For a moment, it's like, oh my gosh, the sunlight, and they remember that, the Ifara statue casts this glow of fake sun that really doesn't exist. But for all intents and purposes, it feels that way. And in that early hour, one of the Meletis guards comes over, swings open has keys, and goes, Barracline, come on, man, get out of here, free to go. And Barracline gets up and goes, thank you all, appreciate, everything you've done. Gives Apple a nod, all of you. And
I'd give you a flag, but they took all my shit.
I will not forget you. And I will do better. And as he walks out, the guard kind of turns and another guard starts to walk up Barracline, and another guard turns back before closing the gate, goes, you all are free to go as well. Come on, let's get you upstairs and get your shit and get you out of here. And moments later, you are coming into this little courtyard in the sun after you've kind of gone through the little foyer or whatever where the office is. And out there, the only two people you see is Piaxathor with his grand cape draped over his broad shoulders. Standing beside him is Bartholomew. And he walks over and he goes, my friends, I'm glad you are all out. Come. And he kind of tries to bring you all in tries to get a hug. And anyone who pushes back, he's like, fine, forget it. Brothers in arms, I thought we were. And he brings out, he goes, here's your bag. And he tosses it, big, hefty bag towards Fitz in her direction. I watched my men count every penny. You should be good, except you were charged for the 300 gold. Couldn't get past it for we were able to reduce it. They called it assaulting a city official. I was able to get it reduced because it was just a mere slap. Normally, you all would be our normal militian. Holding time is a full week. I think I did a good job of getting you out in a day. But failed.
Xathar.
Yes.
Thank you. It's been a bit rough, but we're managing. And kind of gives the shoulder,
Well, the reason I was able to get you out so quickly is it's not all me. I'd like to say it was all me, but Theodotus had a big part of it. You see, after the one assassin that you interrogated, we were able to get more information, and turns out Theodotus, there was a conspiracy, an assassination attempt on his life, which some of it you had shared, and we were able to point it back to one of the he goes, I'm not good with all these names, but one of the X-12 who wanted Theodotus dead. We've arrested him last night. He has been charged. But I have been tasked to come to take you somewhere very special. Because, so without ado, if you're willing to follow me, unless you have better things to do.
Looks back at Fitz. Should we check on the ship?
And Bartholomew standing there says, by the way, Leash, all of you, ship's fine. And Paxcor looks at him like, don't worry, your dragon is safe. I know about the dragon. But Bartholomew says, yeah, she just kind of got loose and is flying around in the harbor, but eventually landed safe beneath the decks right now. We're hoping she doesn't try to do that again.
Well, thanks for looking after her. And I will give him universal speech so that if you ever need to talk to her, at least for the next hour, you could have a little more clear communication with her.
Okay. Yeah, that anything now do to help, Fitz, absolutely.
Also, wherever we're going, did we technically get a long rest in jail?
Yes, you would have got a long rest.
Okay. Cool. Then never mind. I don't need a nap.
Are you asking Piaxathor something, Tilma? Oh, I thought I heard here.
Yeah, no. So you were watching over our weapons? You have those?
Yes. And he looks over his guards, and they have like a bunch of bags and stuff they bring over to give you all of your armor and your weapons. Should all be there. Oh, let me know if you're missing anything. Just in the future, you gotta be touchy with our guards. Meletis is, like I said, I think after today you'll be in a higher standing, but we're, misunderstandings. We're all friends here.
This is a place with many rules.
Yes. Man, has anybody seen Apodexis in the Matrix?
Are you all right, Renee?
What the?
Dude, I've been dying the last like 15 seconds. I thought there's something in my coffee.
I don't know what's going on.
It's like the little black cat walking by, like, oh shit.
Hardcore deja vu.
We saw a glitch in the Matrix.
I'm not really here.
And so he goes, well, listen, the 12 have spoken. Feodetis spoke to them. And because, they know about the whole flying ship and all, there is, we'll just say they have invited you all to the Hall of Prignos. No one gets to go to the Hall of Prignos. It is the place of legend. It is the place where all of our thaumaturges, every mage comes up with the magics that fuels the city. And I have been graced or blessed to be the Leonin to take you there.
That's
fantastic. So, as you can see, I'm a little
news.
excited. So, shall we go?
Yes, let's go.
And as the gates open to that little courtyard, leaving the jail behind them, and as they kind of like march off into the city, we will take a 5-minute break and kind of fade to black there.
Okay.
We survived the night. Good job, guys.
Right.
Did it.
Oh man.
I love it.
Good stuff.
Also, when the hell did Teroxys get so wise?
Well, Teroxys
Dude's got some stuff going on.
Roxy's has always been like that.
Teroxys was the one having the first time Feodetis. It was Feodetis and Teroxys that got into it back and forth, which I was like...
It was the same thing when we ran into the dude that was getting chased by Heliot and Erebos. It was Teroxys that was going super philosophical. It's been like that since the beginning.
Yeah.
That's why he was able to brainwash Telmoon so easily.
I should force him to raise that intelligence score a little bit, but
That's what I'm saying.
Full wisdom. He's still dumb. He's just...
it's okay, I'll take that. It's wisdom.
Yeah, it only comes out in bits and spurts because it's like it's almost like program knowledge. Like he'll say it even if he doesn't like comprehend it.
Yeah.
It takes
As long
a
as there's
long
no
while
Minotaur
for
in
it
the
to
room.
ramp up.
And then he drains it out and gets like really dumb again until it builds back up.
Yeah, speaking of draining, how you been hiding that this whole time on the ship? You just got a mop?
I'm really sorry.
Eddie always getting medical on us.
No, I wanted to bring
I saw
like a voice to the people who have wounds that like
no 100%. Yeah,
like
I got it. Yeah,
be family. Can't have people over.
Yeah,
it's like it smells or it's. I just
That's
did it. It's super funny though, like just the visual, and so it was hard for me to stay in character. While
It
doing
makes
that.
so
And
much
then-
sense though now, like the way you've been describing him, like without like letting us know, so that everyone's kind of been like, ooh, and then when you realize, you know, this man has a condition, all this, it kind of forces everyone to have a different perspective on why they've been like even laughing, you know, almost like laughing at Moby, and then suddenly it's like, so it was a really smart way of doing it. I felt like it was like, oh shit, he has something going on. Like I've been thinking he's you know, kind of a joke, and then there it is, you know, actually a lot more.
Well, it's because that's how I typically am, right? I'm always like, you know, fucking
it's
ball
hard,
sacks
man.
and
It's great.
dick jokes.
Because you was like that liquid that you thought was sweat. I'm like, Eddie.
Yeah. I was like, uh-oh, what's about to happen?
It's because I saw everyone's face. I was like, oh no, I better save this somehow. Try to keep it cool.
It's like, okay, medical condition. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then I apologize. I had room service knocking down the door at this like pivotal moment. And what was funny too is they didn't give me the right stuff, and instead of giving me a margarita pizza, they gave me a margarita.
I mean, that sounds like the right stuff to me.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Super funny. So I'm sorry, Nick, that you were saying something really kind to me, and because she knocked like a couple times, like, oh fuck, I thought maybe they could just leave it at the door, and then, oh god,
it's all good. I was holding back some laughs, and I was trying to play it off like you know, like, yeah, Proxenos is sincere, and he's like wanting this. Also, it's like hard for him to get it out because it is really disgusting to look at.
Super. I mean, it is. It's yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? It's really, it is like the stench and the drainage when you're walking around is disgusting, and that's what makes it kind of just, it's tough. And I hope that y'all get to learn more of my backstory as we go. That was just one way for me to try to get that in, albeit kind of a weird way.
Yeah, I
No
don't
worries.
think
appreciate you taking that shot.
Yeah. This is definitely the perfect time too, because
Moby said they complimented me. This is the moment.
That's nice. What you were saying, I was like, this is it. I got to do it. And here we go.
And I appreciate all the medical terminology. I was just like, yay.
Yeah, that's real stuff. And it makes sense too, right? Like you think like he hangs down to sleep, so the valves of his veins, you know, he's a little older, they get little, you know, they start to reflux, and so that probably also contributes to the leaking that you're seeing.
So you're telling me it's all his self-inflicted, that if he just...
Well, I mean, part of it, of what he did in his past with his, you know, stealing and whatever happened there, but then on top of that is just general wear and tear of his body. Just happens for some folks.
You kind of got us with the, we apologize for being a thief. You're like, that's probably the smallest crime on the list of we got out here. Like,
well, no, and I don't know everyone's story. I guess I've never had a moment to really like learn like just bits and pieces that I've been trying to piece together, and I'll role play the rest out when the time comes.
Like, I'm scared to start enumerating our war crimes. Like, you're out here worried about being a thief.
Well, yeah, because right now, like, I hold y'all to like another level. I'm like, wow, like this is what the family I've always wanted. Like, I want acceptance. Like, y'all are fucking just amazing.
All right,
people.
You heard him. We made it to a whole nother level.
So I say, never meet your heroes, right? We out here. So are we adopting? Wild. Are we adopting this man?
Yeah.
Why would we not?
Yeah, Adam.
I'm making sure I'm not the only one trying to. And no, Mal, it's not that I want another slave. This one, I think we can make strides together as a group.
See, my question was going to be when he said that, when you all said that, I was just like, are we trying to make him a better thief or turn him away from being a thief?
I mean,
Thieving for the good
Pendant.
people.
Use thieving powers for good.
Yes.
correct.
I mean, him and Leto would fucking be two peas in a pod, quite literally.
Steal from the rich and give to us.
That's not exactly what I had in mind, but okay.
I mean,
Remember,
So-
Taroxy's used all of his wisdom already.
True.
It's
he
on
did hit his
cooldown.
wisdom quota. He hit his wisdom quota for the week.
Well,
Oh,
but
man,
now
we
that,
still-
like,
We still need to post those random quotes from the Morkborg game.
Watch there be 3 Minotaur on the 12th.
Oh no.
Well, we had a good run.
Person's gonna walk in, just be like, "I'm hit." Immediately.
old habits die hard.
Mhm.
Versus walks in and just
Nothing's-
goes, all right, you're not allowed in, you're not allowed in, and you're not allowed in.
Yeah, nothing says that we all have to go.
No, not at
The
all.
Exador is so excited. It's an honor to escort us, so we're being escorted.
Yeah. Why does Piaxathor like us? We've been shitty to him for almost the whole
Forever.
time we've met him. Yeah.
Forever.
I think there was that moment where during the feast he had that conversation with Persis about doing like, about fighting for the gods and about like trying to, they were having this kind of like very lawful conversation. And I think during that feast I think that's also the time that right before that fight, Proxinos had cooked for them, right? And like Fitz had given him a remember the flag that he tied in his mane. So that was you guys were asked to him until that point, and then you guys fought together that next day and killed Yinagu. And so he's been cool, and I think he's even over like how he saw Tel Moon, right? He's like he kind of gets where he's at. So I think that's what won him over. I think is the hero's feast.
Yeah, I didn't stab him. That's progress.
Yeah.
We're making leeway. We're making some leeway.
Yeah, see, I mean, I have NPCs that don't hate you guys' guts. There's like they're out there.
The ones that don't know us very well.
Yeah, they just don't know us.
Sam,
Yeah, and that's true. So, because also remember when you guys met, when you guys got on the docks, Piaxathor was like, "Oh, Hellion is dead. Woe is me," and the group was just kind of like, "Yeah, sorry about that."
I think the only like NPC that really likes the bullies is that fish dude
Yeah.
that we spent like 30 minutes talking to him and like, all right, bye.
Well,
Yeah, we all.
I think it's got to bond with him over smelly fish stew.
Soup. Yep.
Yeah.
When whatever contact Fitz made making our flags, because we kept them in the them. In the
Oh
corner.
yeah,
And I
like
think it's a theme
they
of-
are rich.
and also we're
Not-
playing. I think it's a theme of Greek mythologies and Greek tragedies and all of that, and an idea that a lot of times I would think that the people that know, when you hear the name of the legend, you don't know any of the baggage that goes along with the legend. The legend is just amazing. Same thing with the gods, right? They're just amazing. You all get to talk to gods. You get to see how like petty they are. You get to see those other sides. And I think that in a weird way, there's a side of that to you all where you're kind of like demigod level, where, if someone was really to be looking at the cracks, they could see you all for who you are, which is just really normal mortals with power, So, yeah.
Greek
That's
heroes
fine.
were a lot the same way. A lot of Greek heroes were kind of pieces of shit. Like
Yeah.
they did great things, but they were garbage people sometimes.
What do you mean,
yeah.
Hercules?
So just know how
treated his
that's what we're
spouses so well.
exploring. Yeah.
So what you're saying is we're now going to be redubbed the Bronze Prophets.
I mean, I assume most.
I
of their
really
stories
think
about-
Fitz will literally lose her shit.
No rebranding. We
Yeah, the
know
branding
this.
stays.
This
Yeah,
is
no.
why Hellion had to die. Was
This is
because of the
exactly why Hellion
rebranding.
had to die.
over a
You tried to
rebrand
rebrand us.
suggestion.
See, look at that face.
That shit was crazy.
I
We
mean, you've
went
heard
to
of
war
brand
against a
loyalty,
god.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like
there's
I swear, like he was just trying to change like one
Over
of our colors, too.
trademarking.
It was just like
You're
Yeah, Alien was
You
just like,
mean
do
it-
some work
He
for
wanted
me.
to
like-
change our full color scheme and give us a new name.
Yes.
And
No,
from that moment, he had to die.
it had to go.
Yes.
It was over.
Wild.
It was over.
It's wild.
Little
He
did
was
he
once
know.
the god of the sun, yet he made the greatest design flaw ever.
So are our colors the colors of any of the gods?
I mean,
They're like red.
I-
It's like the city of
That's-
Iroas.
Iroas, Akros, and I think Perforos. I mean,
Yeah.
What is it? Iroas, I think, has some red in him, and then Perforos is like all bronzed. And I mean, and, like, that backdrop is always red because he's basically the color of the fire mountain. So the color of like the magic
Yeah.
would be fire. So yeah,
Let's
I think.
yeah.
Hmm.
If
I
we
was
wanna
thinking
use actual
earlier-
magic colors, though.
This is where I go, Troy.
What the hell you want me to say? You made the damn designs.
Perforos is red, Iroas is red and white,
Yep.
Erebos is black. So we've got a little bit of all of
Yep.
them
All
in
of
the
them.
in
Yeah.
the design.
What's Mogus?
Only one that's not represented
Red
is
and
not
black.
Leia.
Red
It's
and
not
black,
Leia's not
okay.
really quite represented in the. But yeah, I mean, I know
Green
she's out there. I
stitching,
know
fuck
she's- Yeah, green
Isn't that
stitching
Leia?
right around the.
I guess. Yeah.
Make it look like
Might be a
vines, I
little
guess.
rough.
I don't know.
I was thinking Kai could be our mascot, and we don't have to change colors.
Oh my god, Kai could have one of those
Yeah.
flying banners like, the planes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yes.
Bronze bullies.
When did y'all
It
get
turns
called
into
Bronze
that
Bullies?
part of
Oh,
the Hercules movie when he's got like all the branding and people are trying to climb up the fence.
Fitz, was that you? Did you
Yeah.
come up with the name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Sounds
was
like game 1 or 2.
Yeah,
was
I
really
did.
early.
I still have
was-
a list. I did like a brainstorm of a whole bunch of names and was like, all right, you guys,
Was
I'm gonna make us branding. Here are the names I thought of.
It was
What
like
does
right before
everyone
we went to the
think?
games, right?
Yeah, because when you
Yeah.
went to the games,
needed
that's
a
why I
group
made
name.
the waiver
That's why we
flags.
did it.
Hmm.
So I
Right.
made
Oh,
those
that's right,
flags
'cause-
to hand out to people to wave to cheer for us in the crowd.
Yeah,
And then
'cause
I was
wasn't that,
like,
on
I'm
the
just gonna
entrance
order
form?
500 of them.
Like what
That's-
wasn't that on the entrance form? Like when we went, like, what is the name of your group?
Yeah, yeah.
I still remember one of the names that he had made, which I think was called the Hateful Eight.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's a Quentin Tarantino movie, but I mean, it was
I-
probably the
I
Hateful
mean-
Eight.
Fully.
Was it?
Fully.
Is it
I'm-
not accurate at the time though for the group?
Yeah.
I mean, if y'all see that movie, it kind of is the Bronze Bullies, the movie, like complete with the racist that's Jason character.
I know I have the list somewhere
Oh,
around
man.
here.
It's a great movie, by the way. Amazing film.
Because I think at that point, the only one person who hadn't killed someone was Eric.
yeah, Eric was playing
He's-
it pretty.
That was
like-
He's
Early
the only
days.
clean one.
Eric was a little
Yeah.
busy.
Oh man,
Is he still busy today? We'll never know.
we'll never know.
Oh,
He
no.
clearly never came
Yeah.
back. Screwfix tried to put him on the ship with y'all, and he still left. He's like, "Nah, I gotta go."
Jeez.
Man, life does be like that sometimes, though.
He's just with
Yeah, life happens.
I will can go back in, and
oh boy.
so
That's the
Jonathan?
Piaxathor takes you down towards the edge of town, going south, past the theater. What's interesting is that you actually march right past the Hall of the 12. You do not go, he's like, nope, it's not where we're going. Down, pass, and then he takes you through the section of the city, if you're looking at the map, where all those god temples are. And at the end, there is a temple of Heliod. And you walk in, he goes, come on, and he notices that as you guys get to this grand temple of Heliod that, I imagine some of you kind of like, stop for a second. And he looks at Apple and he says, stop doing that weird thing and just come with me. Do you all
trying.
follow him? And he beckons for you to follow him up the stairs, in this grand, like, golden thing that the Heli Temple kind of reflects light because it has so much, like, gold adornment off of, like, but he wants to lead you into the structure. And he balks and you follow.
The problem was with him, not with what he represented. We're good.
As you walk in, you notice there are no worshippers inside. It's quite quiet. There actually is one person kind of standing towards the front, kind of a shrouded old lady who seems to be like burning incense before the statue, and it's just marble floors. If you didn't hate Heliot so much, it actually still, looking past the kind of gaudiness of it, it's quite beautiful. And so he leads you towards the front where there's this grand statue of Heliot, like holding out his hands, and he's it's kind of the sculpture is carved as though there are bright radiations coming out of the hands. And then he leans over and whispers something to the old woman, and she stands up and walks over to a wall and touches it, and the wall kind of pushes in and slides over. And then she kind of just all completely shrouded. You can hardly even see her face. And it's not like a heavy cloak. It's not black. It's almost like layers and layers of like white, almost like sheets, where you can just kind of barely see her form underneath, but she waves for you to enter. And as they do, you start to hear you walk for like down a hall for about 40 feet, and then that hall that is man-made suddenly opens into a cavern space that continuously switches back and forth for what feels like 10 or 15 minutes of walking, hundreds of feet. And then in the distance, it gets very dark to the point where, and Piaxathor is not using any torch, any light. And so most of you kind of fumbling through the darkness or needing to cast your glow or anything, using any of your instruments to create that light. Eventually you begin to hear the rushing of water in the far, far distance. And you feel a slight breeze, a chill as you enter or exit from that cavern space into this large open cavern. And in this cavern is built this like maybe 15 steps go up onto like a huge temple platform that is probably 200 by 300 feet wide. And so, this is the kind of space that would be the grounds in a stadium. And there are these large columns. Each column is almost 10 foot, in diameter, going up, erected into the cavern ceilings themselves. And in between each column, there is a 10-foot statue of every god that you know of through THEROS. And in the center, as you begin to walk and you're across the marble floor that's been built there, some of your feet kind of clopping on that, creating a bit of an echo. About 100 feet in front of you, you see several white and blue-robed individuals with golden staffs and crystals lining those staffs. And there is a kind of dark-skinned woman with almond-shaped eyes and kind of a blue glow to them, and her kind of dark, woolly-like hair is adorned upwards like a crown. And she addresses you, and she goes, and standing next to her and some of these other mages or thaumaturges is Feodetis as well. And she goes, "Welcome, Bronze Bullies. I am Delphine Aquinas. I am the head magician here in the House of Prignos. How do you do this day?" And as she looks a bit like this lady here. And you notice that in addition to her staff, she also has this crystal ball that she holds. And it seems to like have almost like the stars of the Knicks floating around inside of it. We could not help notice you enter our city in your flying vessel a couple days ago. But we have been observing. Yes.
To be honest, we were, I think, hoping to be observed in that way. Hoping that our message would be caught on quickly.
Yes. Glad that we are having this meeting now, Miss Delphine.
I am glad that we needed to observe your movements, but we probably would have taken our time a little bit longer, but it was Meletis who vouched for you. As we thank you for saving his life, we had a late meeting with the 12, all of them not represented here. The head of the 12 is the only one who has provided access to the House of Prignos. And so this is why Theodesis is here, as he has been placed in that authority. But let us get to the matters at hand. I am quite interested in understanding how you have been able to travel. We know that through the Sundering, we know that THEROS is in a broken state, and our oracles have an understanding that we are all not that remains. But even with all of our knowledge, we have been stumped on being able to travel anywhere outside of our seas. And I think we have much knowledge that we can both share with each other.
We come on an issue of some urgency. You may be aware by now that Akros is threatened. We're not sure how long they have left. We hoped that we could present to you our ship so that you could be able to replicate its technology. I have to admit that we can use it, but we don't understand it.
Yes. And she seems to look at you, Persis, like oddly, almost like fascinated. You realize she's kind of staring at the gem in your head. Yes, come with me. We do understand. Unfortunately, we felt that our city of Akros, there was nothing we could do. But let me show you. And she takes you to this. So at the end of the hall, there's another hall that she takes you into. And this hall is only maybe 40 feet wide. but has these kind of alcoves, and in each of the alcoves on either side, you see these like thrones or like chairs, and they have crystals in them. They're all adorned in different ways, but they remind you, in a way, Persis and the rest of you, of your helm that you have on the ship. But these are all just kind of sitting there. They're not powered up. They have the crystals are not activated. And as she's walking, she's kind of speaking, and what Delphine tells you is that transmutation magic, it is the transmutation magic specifically that is used here in Meletis in many things. Our flying chariots, our light sources, our control of food and water sources, all of it, our colossi that guard the harbor. We know that transmutation is required for ship's flight, but the power needed is much stronger. It needs to be channeled through crystals, and those crystals need a positive and a negative charge to fire up these helms. We have been able to reverse engineer, create these, but we haven't had the spark that would bring them to life. You clearly have the answer to part of that question. And she points at Persis. The answers that we haven't had the answer to. We've known the ability to sail the Nyx without the use of the gods or a portal for many years, but we've been limited in our breakthrough. This room of helms is, like I said, is as far as we've gotten. If we could get these activated, we could put these on Meletis ships. We could begin to sail and help those beyond. She stops for a second just before she continues.
Persis will approach one of the helms and reach out to it. Just touch. And say, I will help however I can, but again, I don't understand what I need to do.
Can I have a wisdom-based arcana check from Persis?
Wisdom arcana. Okay.
Just meaning you use your wisdom instead, and if you're still proficient in it, you still get the same thing, but just using your wisdom stat.
Okay. 19.
And as you touch it and you're like, I don't know what to do, there's like a little magical shudder that goes through it. It doesn't fire up, but like it pulses for a second and it lights up for a second. And there's these magical torches that light these like dark hall, and you can hear this water at the end of this long hall that you're in. And it's slightly domed, almost like a cathedral overhead where you guys in. And in each of these alcoves, that helm sits there like almost 6 feet tall, like a throne. And for that one lights up in a vibrant like green, and then stops. You are not far. You know something. You see, it is believed that the vessel that if I'm saying his name right, I always get it wrong. Give me 1 second here. It would be Agnomokos, the Archon who came here to THEROS ages ago, was a madman and was a tyrant. But what to all the legends that people say that the Archons came out of the sky with their wings, we know the truth that we keep to ourselves here as mages is that he came here on a ship using the same power. And he came here. We have that ship, and she waves her globe at the end of the hall, and these two grand doors that are almost like 20 feet high, and they're all these crazy, like almost etchings of relief in them of history as they begin to like slowly slide open, and there's like a mist in the ground, and into another large cavern do you walk. This time the sound of that water is getting closer, and there's like a mist on the ground, and before you, lit by kind of a dim magical light, is a giant ship. It's huge, and the only way to describe it is an ark of sorts that sits in the room. This is the ship that the Archons came here on. And it has its own helm that we have not been able to ignite. This vessel could save many of the people of Akron. But access to Arconian crystals has been limited, but we believe that there are more of them throughout the Nyx that can be excavated, that can be found amongst the stars. But we believe you, Persis, could be the key to jumpstarting it so that we can start to reach out. And of course, we can start by saving our brethren in Akros. We've used all kind of crystal types in our early experimentation to get a charge, but nothing has sustained enough power. This ship needs a great power surge to jump it. A crystal more powerful than anything we have. And there is this kind of scaffolding that's been built with a door on the side of the grand ship on this arc that she begins to kind of ascend as you were to follow her, leading deeper inside. And on this main deck, similar to your little small room, Persis, where you sit, is a massive helm that looks like it would be big enough for a 8-foot, 9-foot tall humanoid to sit in. Gems encrusted all through it, and it seems to be carved like bodies, all of them reaching towards the heavens, like climbing all over each other. And at the top, 2 of those bodies have wings, and they come together like clutching a gem at the middle, just very symmetrical in form. And so with that, she kind of stops in awe, as though every time she sees it, even though she's seen it day after day for a long time, maybe you, Persis, can... Your crystal, I feel its energy. I know you do not know how, but I think somewhere deep inside, you don't. Whatever's inside of you, the crystal itself knows how. And she'll kind of pause for a moment to see if there's anything being shared amongst the party, or...
Is it gonna hurt her?
I do not know.
Does it matter?
Persis.
I mean, it's something to consider.
It is. I cannot. I will try to be as honest with you. I do not know if this will. I do not know what such power, if it will kill you. I will not even ask you how you have such a crystal. The fact that you are even alive, many of us are able to channel our magic through crystals. Many of these we could not hold for more than a minute, let alone it be embedded in our bodies. And so this is why you must be the key.
Persis, this is a great ask for you. I would be eternally grateful to you. And I can give a bit of my power to maybe give you a stronger connection with the crystal.
I will accept any help I can get. I do have to ask, this has been our goal, and it's so important. Once you evacuate Akros, what are you going to do with this ship?
It's a good question. As most things, we will. Akros, Meletis uses our magic to advance ourselves, but also to protect ourselves. There is a new world out there, and we are ahead of you all, are ahead of it, as we are the only groups with the, we would be the only nations with the power of flight. We would use it to advance our Meletis way and to protect it. I will not lie. It could be a great war vessel, a defense system for us in the future.
Thank you for being honest about that. There's much that we don't know about the rest of the world. I would simply ask if others are in need of assistance. We don't even know what happened to Oreskos. We've only seen very briefly what happened to the Veil. I would ask that you help them.
You have my word that if you can power this ship, if it can even be done, the hull back there that lined with those helms, we would mount those onto our fleets and send our Militian hoplites, our soldiers, into the ends of the galaxy to find and save the lost. That you have our word. It is the Militian way. You know this because I know you are clearly one of us.
Again, thank you for the assurance. And I'll turn to the rest of the bullies and be like, I know that we're going to need the strength of Akros, but I want to do all here of Meletis. They'll be the first ones forging out into the void, but I'm confident that they're also a great hope for the world. And I think this is part of how we can build toward a better place and to stop breaking the world.
Proxenos nods. We need help. The whole of the stars, of the lost bits of THEROS, needs help. And as much as it pains me, we, as ourselves, don't have that power to solve those problems. On the whole, we need Meletis. We need Akros. We need the rest of THEROS to unite. If we can't, then I don't see any of us surviving what's to come.
You have me convinced. I'm willing to help you. I'm willing to take the risk.
And for that, I am eternally grateful, Ursus, and I'm with you all the way. Are you ready? As he's kind of getting ready his magic to get you more in tune with the crystal.
And so Delphine asks Persis to sit on the, even though it almost looks like a small child, sitting on this large chair, but she asks him to sit there and to kind of like grip the edges of it, or get her to sit there and grip the edges of it.
As you're getting up to sit down, Fitz is going to take out her piccolo and play like a little encouraging, hopeful melody and inspire you with the D10.
And the magic goes off as enhanceability as you feel this tune, this source from the crystal, bit clearer, this resonance, as you have advantage on all wisdom base checks.
Hopefully that's right.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll see. At the inspiration and the spell, Persis smiles and nods to both of you. And sits and closes her eyes and concentrates.
Give me another wisdom base arcana check.
Okay. We'll have that D10. I still have proficiency. Okay.
and you have advantage.
Yes. That is a 24.
So Persis begins to feel that cold of the chair starts to get warm. You all start to see it begin to pulse. Some of the crystals begin to light up. And they begin to kind of charge from the bottle. Woo, 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 like it's going to charge the one at the top. And goes, woo, and that one at the top begins to light like a radiant glow. And then, boom, and the blast almost blows everyone in their back. Taroxy slides back for a moment. Delphine kind of shields her face, holding her globe. And it powers down. She goes, no, something's... Come. And she says, try again. And this time she gives you her crystal ball. And she says, all of you, touch her. Just lay a hand on her somewhere. You're almost there, Persis.
You can use that inspiration until it works, by the way.
Good to know.
Hand on shoulder. Enhance ability did not go away.
And so this time, with all of them gathered around, kind of touching Persis, so this time they're very like kind of really gathered around the chair, all almost touching the chair, and Delphine standing kind of behind them with her hands just extended, kind of just in this state of meditation. Persis, she goes to try again, and the first time you can tell Persis, it took a toll on you, right? So you feel a level of exhaustion just from trying, like you just from going through here, like the first one. This time you already have advantage, right? You already have Fitz's
I think you just
Proxenos'
counteracted that
How did I do that?
with the level of exhaustion.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I did. So yes, but you are going to try again.
Okay.
And before you, this time, instead of rolling, you start to feel, Persis, as you're kind of trying to connect. Those lights beginning to build towards the top. This blast goes out, and all of you, kind of this light pushes through you, and Persis, you're looking into the crystal ball, and you can see these, you can kind of see these weird patterns in it, and all of you can see them. And now you're all kind of standing in the Nyx. You don't, Persis is floating, but she's not sitting on the chair. It's like she's just floating in the Nyx. And she's looking into the crystal ball. Delphine's not there. It's only the bronze bullies. And what you see is this. And I will also put this here for all of you. Give me a second here. If you can either log in the Legend Keeper, or you can just kind of follow my screen, but I'll also put a link to where we're at for those who may want to follow on a separate screen here. If it makes you click into Meletis, you have to go to Meletis, and then not only do you have to go to Meletis, but you have to go to, there's a little brain shaped in the far left corner at the lower end of the Meletis map. There's this little kind of puzzle icon that you can click on. And so, based on what you remember her saying about this, you feel your like light coursing through you. And so, because all the bronze bullies are touching Persis, they can help her in this state. There are several paths leading. The paths are in green, both at the top and the bottom. Persis needs to choose a path that leads to a source that will unlock the power. But Persis only gets one choice. Only one path works. And when Persis commits to the path, she can take help from her friends. She must follow the path and then find out if it is correct. You can ask questions to me as the GM if it's, if you have them. Worst case scenario, I tell you if I might not have an answer for you, or I may make you roll if I feel like it's something that you could roll for. But feel free to look over this and tell me once you've decided what your way forward is. The party can talk to each other.
So each little circle is tied to a letter and it's a different path, or?
So, this is my, okay. So each green is a starting point. You can
Uh-huh.
only choose one of the greens. Only one starting point can you choose. You see they have different
Yep.
letters? You
Yeah.
can only choose one starting point, and from there you have to decide a path that leads to one of the
But we're-
appropriate.
But do we need to follow the letters of the the green we start on?
Like
the
if you
first one
start
is
on
C.
E, you
Yeah.
have to keep it on E, or if you start on C, you keep. Or are we spelling a word?
No, can I have a Arcana check from Telmoon and Fitz?
That's why I don't like to talk in this damn game.
A dirty 20.
Okay.
That is a dirty 6.
So Fitz
That's
understands, while Telmoon asks the question, Fitz understands that the way you're all experiencing this magical energy rolling through you, that the letter corresponds to the path, which means you need to stay on the letter's path to its same destination. Does that answer the question?
I think so.
Yeah, and what exactly is the end goal? One of the little purple
The
ones?
end
Or-
is one of the
purple?
purple ones. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We should try EV.
So, bottom D connects directly to a power source. Bottom E connects directly to a power source. Top
EV
EV
also does. Yeah.
Mhm.
T connects to a top power source.
So
That's a
there are
long
multiple
line.
choices.
I feel like EV has the most direct path to a purple, unless I'm mistaken.
A few of them are pretty straight, but yeah, EV is a great choice. Let's do that.
I
would
have to
say
be
that-
curious. Sorry, go ahead.
Nope, you go ahead. Actually, me might.
Yeah, well, I'm just curious why EV is 2 letters and everything else is 1 letter, which might mean that it's the right choice.
Or the wrong.
I'll share with you the reason. I'll give you the reason EV is 2 letters is because there also is another E.
Hmm.
Each letter. Can I have a an insight from
They're
Persis?
connected to the damn gods, aren't they?
If you get a
17.
15, okay. So you didn't get to the next tier. The next tier would have been 20, would have given you a little bit more information.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is that each letter stands for something that you should know if you like really think about what the letter stands for. And some piece of the information was given to you by Delphine. So the letters stand, each letter stands for something in particular. You're holding this magical orb. You guys are inside this magical orb. There's different magical energies running to different sources. Only one of those magical paths can be right based on its magical type.
I think we're looking for transmutation, guys.
I think you're right.
So the T one at the bottom.
Oh god, that's a long route.
It is, but it's a route.
Yeah, don't fuck up. Good luck.
No, like the D and E at the bottom, they run straight to power sources. That T.
Oh yeah, T is wild.
Yeah.
But it would make sense.
Yeah, it would.
That's not
Wait.
that bad. What do we think, guys?
I
Take
mean,
A little
lead on T?
meandering, but yeah.
I mean,
I think it's a
An
good
EV
guess.
or T or EV.
Talmoon Taroxy's T.
I'm going T.
I think so.
So we do T. Up one. Which actually you guide me, so you can follow my lead. But so if I go up T1, I go left or right.
Left.
Left.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Up.
Up.
Mm-hmm.
Up.
Left.
And then left.
Mm-hmm.
Up.
Up.
Okay. Okay. We continue to go up.
Up.
Yep.
Up.
And then right.
Right.
Okay, and so continuing to follow this path. Take it from
Okay.
here, then I'll trust that you all are
And
going.
then.
Yep.
So this is the one we're choosing.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of them concentrating, you almost feel yourself, Persis, walking in a weird way, like almost like a part of herself is separated and moving through that magical path. And as she goes into the center, that light kind of goes up, and it gets overwhelming for all of you. You all feel as though your very core, your body is being strained, your spirit, your mind, kind of being pushed in this moment, and then you all are blown back, and almost like light in your eyes as things begin to clear before you. Persis is slumped over the chair, like knocked out. And then she wakes up, and all this power is like coursing through the thing, and it like lights up, and you feel the entire ship like sitting in that little harbor inside this giant cave, kind of you can feel it, the arc moving, and slowly, surely, kind of beginning to elevate and lift off the ground. And somewhere through the halls, every one of those helms, boom, 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 is lighting up and beginning to activate as it is happening. The transmutation was the correct path here. And Persis, you are awake, you are aware. Delphine almost like collapses to her knees in awe in this moment that this is even transpiring. Are there any words from the party as this is all happening?
We're doing it. Guys,
Are
we're
you-
doing it! Probably the
Um,
most energetic you've heard Proxnos in a while.
And so amazed by this. Like I said, the ship is floating. They now have the power. Yes, this arc can be used as Persis is sitting there controlling the arc. Delphine kind of reaches out and says, "You can transfer this power. Will you be the one to guide the ship? I know you have one of your own. We will allow you to take the Ark to Akros, provided you're willing to return it to us. We know, you can tell that she knows that, like, the way the helms work, that you can transfer the power to move it back and forth, as you did when you gave Fitz the power to control the ship." What is Persis? How does Persis respond to this?
Friends, do we go now?
The time is pretty short, isn't it? We're not sure how much time we have.
Well, we should.
And
We will. I'm getting ahead of myself. We at least need to make preparations. We have to be prepared for the people. I must
Of
talk to the
course.
guard. She could tell she's just kind of like so excited. Like she's like running around in circles as her like the priests who are outside of the ark are just kind of like collapsed down on their knees, kind of like praising to just the magic and awe.
Fitz! In this energetic jive over to you, or like a jaunt. Please, if you can, send a message. Let Akros know that help is coming and we're evacuating them.
Who should I tell? Do you want me to tell your mom? She's on the council. Right?
You can tell my mom. That works.
Hey, Proxinos' mom. Yo, it's me, Fitz. We coming. We got a big ship and we coming. Get hyped and pack your shit.
And she responds with a very quick like praise be to Iroas. You know, we will be ready. As this is all happening, can someone roll a D4 for me? Actually, a D3. A D3, which a D6 cut in half.
Not it.
Low is good on this roll.
Hmm.
Low is good.
Well, good, because I got a 1.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, kind of fast forward a bit, you can always retcon what happens in this time, but it takes 24 hours for them to. They do it in 24 hours, like working overnight, guards getting mounted on ships. And as all of this is happening, you all are like basically on the sun is rising in the Meletis harbor. You all are on your ship, and your ship is surrounded by 6 other Meletis smaller ships, vessels, that are all begin to lift out of the harbor water. As water's just raining down, fish falling, crabs falling off the side of them as they begin to hover there in the air. And then you hear this and so what you realize is the House of Prignos is like on the harbor outside of it, but it's hidden deep within a cavern under the water. So out in the ocean, you see this like massive ship begin to lift out, and inside of it, Delphine is like at the helm of the ship, like with all of her priests like running around, guards running around, keeping things going. What are here on the ship? Is there anything that as you all are kind of looking out as the not really the sun rising, but the light of Afara beginning to brighten on a new day? Want to hear from the Bronze Bullies.
Apple's starting to. Go ahead.
Oh, looking back at everyone. Are we ready? Apple.
He goes to the prow of the ship, and then just like lets out like the biggest leonine roar that he's ever managed to muster.
Insight check, Apodexis.
Of course.
Advantage insight check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, outroared by Biaxathor.
And Piaxlor is on one of the ships leading as well. He's controlling one of the ships for sure. You see him on the ship not too far away where you're roaring off. Apple. But that's not what you're checking for. Uh-oh, Apple's
16.
is going into the...
There's a 4 and a 16.
Okay, 4 and a 16. I'll take the 16. So Apple's roaring off the prow of the ship. Anyone else?
Yeah. Just silently looking forward while placing his hand on both of his rapier hilts. Saying, if you guys aren't going to guide me someplace, I'm going to go ahead and find my own way. Just in his head.
Insight check from Telmo. Or Telmo.
But like with my constitution,
Yeah, just right. You're never gonna let me live that episode down, huh?
I'm begging, man. You always choose my -1 stats. Okay, it's a dirty 17.
Okay. Anyone else? It is to have to. I don't have to hear from everybody, but just if you have something that you're doing on the ship that you want to share now, definitely now's the time.
Moby's just kind of hanging off one of the, I don't know, just like hanging upside down, just has his wings open, just letting the
little miss, a little drop.
Yeah, just kind of.
They're flying into the wind, thankfully. Like,
yeah, it's just cooling off and ready for what's next.
Nice. Insight check from you, Moby. That one's not advantage, unfortunately. It's just a regular one. What?
18.
Okay. What's going twice?
It hasn't been a common sight so far, but Persis is like at the helm, actually smiling as she's like occasionally giving orders for people to trim various things, even though it's not really necessary. Just like gotta keep people busy.
Like it.
But she's been pretty stern so far, and just has that smile.
Advantage insight from Persis.
Oh, okay.
Hey Mal, how big is this ship? Is it like 120 by 120 bigger?
Like you guys have access to the rollout
really?
of your ship in Legend Keeper. Like you have access to like all the decks and everything. It's a hammerhead, so it's one of the larger Spelljammer ships. It is a full, it's not like a small sailing ship. I forget what you call it, but it has a hammerhead front. Even though I know you guys have strapped the front of Perforos's bust, right? Isn't that what you guys said you did? Is that where it's at? It's like hanging. So it's like a hammerhead ship meant to ram things, but now there's that stone of Perforos's bust. Yeah, that's kind of like all on the top, like leaned out.
Oh, so
forward.
We're on our hammerhead, not the arc.
You're on your hammerhead. Right. The arc just came out of the
Okay.
ocean. You're on the hammerhead. Yeah, the arc. I'll describe it a little bit more later, but feel free to describe it how. But it's similar to like what we all think like the Noah's Ark looks like, but it's a little bit more extravagant. It's a little bit more elongated. It's not, but it's a big, massive ship. Whereas all your ships are lifting off in the harbor, it looks like all your ships could land on its deck. Right? Like that's how big it is.
Okay.
It's the aircraft carrier of our
Yeah,
group.
yeah, it's an aircraft carrier.
An arc craft carrier.
Yeah.
Proxenos would find Fitz and say, I think it's a good time to try and train Kai. Give a good impression.
What did you have in mind?
And you can tell that Kai has gotten like in a day, like a little bit bigger. Like that's why like she couldn't fly a day ago, but like the dragon is literally visually bigger than it was a day ago. Not by much, but and the wingspan's a little bit longer. It's like so she's growing rapidly.
Look at
Hear me
her,
out.
my little girl.
Hear me out. Let me speak.
Mhm.
And I have something that might help her feel more closer with dragon side of things.
Okay, yeah. I mean, where did it go on my character sheet? 4 of us could talk to her. I mean, so you, me, her. Let's see. Cast universal speech.
Okay. So you guys give her a speech. Oh, and then so now you're telling. So
that
now you have
yeah.
connection with. Mm-hmm.
So that we
Yeah.
can talk to, so that Proxenos and I can talk to Kai, and she can talk back.
Fourth person
So
still
she-
Bartholomew.
Sure.
Yeah, Bartholomew, get in
I-
on this.
I feel like as she like squawks, what I think is that like I always feel like animals, they don't have like a cute, they don't have like a voice, but you can like internally understand what her like what those squawks and those kind of like raptor like noises mean. And so
Like when my
she's
cat
like,
meows
sure.
at me, I know she wants
Yes.
food.
She wants to fly. She's seeing all the ships live. She wants to fly alongside the ship.
I'm afraid they might hurt you if they see you flying. Proxinos, what do you think?
And Praxinos will say to Kai, I'll let you fly under a condition. We fly my way. It'll be a bit different, but you'll get used to it, and I'm sure enough you'll enjoy it.
Like, what's your way?
And with a handout, I'll show you. Just give me a chance to.
Kai, if it's any consolation, I trust him.
Kai like looks at Fitz, and because Fitz says it's okay, says okay, and then kind of bumps Fitz like, and then bumps Fitz again like, if we're flying, then like get on. Now she's still pretty small, so it's just like you're literally like holding onto her back, like she's like the size of, to you, kind of like a glider. You'd be like just hanging on. It's not like a big dragon you'd be sitting on, right? You're just maybe just holding onto her back.
Proxinos, would it affect what you're trying to do if I tried to ride her?
Actually, she like rises up and grabs you by your shoulders and like locks her, so you're like under her on her belly, and she starts to like lift up like a pterodactyl holding Fitz in the middle.
I consent to this.
And as
she'll
we're,
drop
like,
you if you want her to. She's just kind of like come on, like.
You
Don't
have
do
dragon backpack.
launching mid-flight as she goes. If she is accepting,
Yeah, she's accepting.
Proxinos will cast polymorph and turn her into a giant eagle.
He's gonna turn Kai into an eagle.
Yes.
So she
Okay.
can fly, but
So she can
inconspicuous.
fly.
She drops Fitz. Well, she holds Fitz.
She
in her,
can
like,
still hold me.
A giant
she
eagle
holds-
still is enough.
Yeah, I can hold Fitz.
And Proxinos will turn into a giant eagle himself.
This is a fun way to
She
travel.
squawks in like disapproval, but takes off. And
This
Fitz
is
is just fucking
bullshit.
soaring over the
It's just while we're in the city, because some people are a little edgy.
Apple's like licking his chops. He's like, so many birds.
And so as they like swirl, kind of like going, like going back and forth around, the Kai like pushes hard, like to the point where like one thing that it's hard to keep up with her Proxinos, even though you're both in the same form. It's just something about her being dragon that is, she's kind of like begins to like soar and pull ahead as all those ships are kind of like pushing out. Now instead of going into the sunrise, they're pushing away from the light, so they're kind of like the atmosphere is opening up into the Nyx, right? Like, and they're sailing into that void away from the city of Meletis. And those who took an insight, Persis sitting at the helm, kind of, because Persis, when you're sitting there, you have this 360-degree view of your ship. It's almost like you can, like in a video game, you can see in the ship, you can see outside the ship, and you can see around the ship. Apple, you're hanging off on the side and you're looking down, and then Moby, you're on one of the riggings on the top, but you feel it more so than anything, Persis. But Apple, you the only one to see it. What'd you get, Telmoon?
I got a 17.
17. You kind of feel something as well. Like you just kind of feel something like kind of warms you for a moment. And but with Apple, I think the only person who really sees something other than maybe Moby from the top is that Apple, as you're hanging off the front, you look at the face of Perforos, and for a second there, kind of like how you were glitching, the eyes are open and fiery coals. And just like they're open, then they're open, and then they're closed, and they're open, and then they're closed again. And then the ships sail away into the Nyx. We'll end there. Good game.
Nice.
Great game.
Good game, guys.
Now they just convinced me I don't need daddy no more. Now you gonna bring it back?
Now I have your daddy.
No.
Let's not get that on recorded.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Legend Keeper was making me glitch out
Oh,
every time
yeah,
I was
man.
like, oh,
Man, you were-
man.
It
Yeah.
was wild. It looked like you were posing for it, like you was doing it on purpose.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm like, why am I max headrooming here? Like, what the hell?
It was.
It
nice.
was so entertaining though.
Yeah, it really was. Thank you.
Stuff. Yeah.
Gotta let me know ahead of time when you're gonna do a puzzle. Now I won't start drinking. I was like, I gotta draw a line.
We got letters in here. What's going on?
Yeah. It was like super simple, but also could be easy to be super fucking difficult, you know, because it's like once you look at it, you're like, what does this mean? But yeah,
I'm
it
not
was
gonna
like
lie,
that's
I
why she
feel
said
dumb for not
transmutation
picking
like
it on
3
right away.
times. And
Yeah.
it's just because EV was evocation.
Yep.
Yeah.
E was it was just different
Enchantment.
magic,
Yeah.
different enchantment. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just so.
Yeah.
So it was just Persis and all of you channeling and tapping into the transmutation magic to unlock it.
So we have 24 hours technically for retcon at the end there.
Yes, you got 24 hours. So if there's things that you would have go places that you would have gone or visited, or if you want to
We
buy
gonna do a little
something,
temple time. We gonna do a little temple time.
Temple time. You could have done that.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh wait, 24 hours to get ready, or 24 hours trip.
No, because I rolled it. You rolled a D4 and it was a one. I mean D3. So
D6,
the one
yeah.
means it was only 24 hours of like that time. So within 24 hours, anything you would have done there in Meletis before you left is what you have.
It's
So we have like a
Okay.
day to fuck around with.
Yeah,
That's
and the
it.
reason I say
Yeah.
one is better because the more you could spend more time, but more days would have taken them to
Would've
prepare
gone
everything
by.
is
We-
days that you don't have for Acheron to be.
Yeah.
We just get there late.
We roll up as they're going in, like shit.
That
Yeah,
would
we
be
can go
the
shopping
worst.
later. This is fine.
Yeah, no, we don't want to be moving on our Mexican
Should've
time
never
because that's not cool.
I don't know why nobody wants to roll my D12 divided by 4. I feel like it's the same thing.
You also can between now and next game. You also don't. Well, you know, I
Level
imagine
up?
you guys probably want to go back, but you can have the Bronze Bullies could
Level up.
also have them go save them if they want to go somewhere else. If they just want the Meletis ships
Yeah.
to focus on saving of Akros,
But Fitz
unless you
just
want to be there for
said
the
that
savings.
we're going.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't want to stop you from saving your family, but we will be going in the opposite direction of the people we're trying to chase to get our transformer.
And
That's very true.
So it's on
But
y'all.
this is time
I'm dope with
sensitive.
I'm dope with the family,
Yeah.
but the whole fleet's going. I don't know what our ship's going to do. They got the Ark.
We back up.
We're back up.
We're not.
We know
They
the
don't
way
know-
there. They don't know how to
Yeah.
get there.
What's that
Yeah.
crystal ball for? She just got a useless ass crystal ball.
Driving does not equal autopilot.
you all
Or
can
map quest.
level up.
Oh
You
no!
level
You,
up.
Oh,
damn it, Mal.
You
I was
can
kidding,
level up.
Mel.
Level up.
Come
The
on.
power
that
was
mean-
inside of us all along.
What?
Level.
Does that mean-
15?
Oh no, I didn't do
Okay.
it because you said that this was supposed to be a level up. So
I mean, I don't care
Uh,
what you say. My power made us level up.
And then
Do you remember that one time you mentioned a dragon rider?
Yes, I didn't send it to you because you hadn't leveled up yet, so I will send you the class. It does require, it says it requires that you be, Fitz is a 12 strength, and it requires a 13, so I'm going to bypass that. You can still use it.
Is there any
but
way...
you would be multi-clashing, so you would be moving this class into Dragon
useful
Rider.
as like more like a feat than a... Or we're not at a level for a feat, never mind.
Wait, what are you saying? Oh, you're saying can you take a feat instead of
I mean, like I was looking into maybe like giving her the feat feature instead of a full multi-class, but multi-class works too.
Let me
We're
look
just
at the
not
feats.
at that level.
I could let me see. Let me take, because that might, yeah, because I mean, I will say it's gonna here's the thing, I haven't vetted this class. It's in a book that I own. It will break Fitz's advancement as a bard probably going forward, but it will add another fun element to play with. So
It's cool. We have enough spellcasters. Do what you want.
Yeah.
It's probably a melee class, but you're good. Or it's probably a martial class, but
it's going to be like your level. What, you guys are going to level 14? We're going to level 15.
We're going to level 15.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you would get the.
So we gain 8 level spells.
Besides,
Well,
we
most
have
of us
so
are gonna
many
get level
magic
spells.
weapons that we don't know what to do with.
You guys
Like,
don't
it
even
is
do anything with them. You
ridiculous.
guys have so many, and Persis just
Yeah.
got a wooden
I am
tiger
waiting.
that she
I'm
can create a tiger
waiting to
whenever
stab
she
somebody. We're not bringing no cats. We've decided cats do not get summoned in this campaign.
Persis has a cat now.
It's
Apodexis
disrespectful.
has an evil hyena demon.
Fitz has had
Nice.
a cat. Fitz has a cat.
Oh,
We're gonna
give
see it
the
one
cat-
day.
Yeah.
I have a cat.
Let it run free. Play with all the
It's-
other cats.
With the bow is one of the. It's
Yeah.
one of the options with the bow. I can
It's gonna be
summon
the
like a
worst.
lynx.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the lynx.
Because
Nice.
Persis is gonna summon her cat, and then Fitz is gonna summon her cat, and then Apple's gonna